4 days after Kelsey Smith's abduction from Target, Edwin Hall is in police custody, identified as the man seen following Kelsey through the store. Moments before questioning Hall for the first time, authorities track Kelsey's phone via cell tower pings. Zeroing in on a quarter-mile square area, their search comes to an end.
We got a phone call from the detective from Overland Park that was out at the search, and I was probably a mile from that area. He called and said, "We've got crime scene B out here. We found Kelsey's body."
Her body is discovered in a wooded park 20 miles away in Missouri.
When we found Kelsey, she was discovered nude and covered with branches. She had a gray belt tied around her neck. Her clothing was found about 100 feet away from where her body was found. What we later discovered is that she had been sexually assaulted and strangled with that belt. We didn't realize how vital it was that John was sending her text messages.
I believe the text messages that I had sent her were used to help triangulate.
Because we were able to follow the pings down the highway, because John was texting her, "Please call me," that ended up being the saving grace because it led us to her. His text messages led us to her.
Round-the-clock media attention, so vital to the case, now becomes the enemy.
The chief of police and another law enforcement officer came up and they said, "Where are your parents?" So we need to talk to them. And it was just a look on their face.
Police race to let Missy and Greg know that Kelsey's body has been discovered before they hear it on the news.
My question was, is this something we need to brace for? And he said, "Yeah, you better brace." Within just a few minutes, we met him right out here in the driveway, and they told us that Kelsey's body had been recovered.
I remember I started yelling, "Not my Kels, not my Kels."
I pull up right in front of my parents' house and I see them sitting on the back of Dad's pickup and they're just bawling. And seeing my dad cry like that. And they just gave us this look and I just dropped to the ground and screamed, "No." I said, "No." And then I couldn't walk.
Fortunately, my parents were there. Greg and Missy told people that she had been found, and I had held my dad. My dad's not really an emotional guy, too. So when I saw him tear up, that probably hurt almost more.
Back at the station, Detective Miller enters the interview, knowing the man he's about to face could be Kelsey's murderer.
Introduced himself. "I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. I'm that guy on the news, but I'm not the guy you're looking for." Right away, we realized the suspect has convinced his attorney he had nothing to do with it. He talked the suspect into giving up prints, photographs, DNA. "You're here to eliminate yourself. Let's make this quick."
Hall's DNA and prints are sent to the crime lab, and investigators go hard at Hall.
In the first 2 hours, it was, "Is this you?" "Yep, that's me." "Is that your truck?" "Yep." "Tell us why you're there."
Edwin told us he had been shopping for a present for his wife, but he wasn't the one who took Kelsey, claimed he didn't have anything to do with her disappearance.
During questioning, Detective Miller receives updates from his boss.
I was getting text messages on my pager from my boss telling me they were getting leads now from women at the mall who were approached by him. That's the guy that came up and was asking us those weird questions at the mall.
One caller is a local server who verifies Hall harassed her, then skipped out on his bill.
He admitted to, we call him a dine and dash at a local restaurant around the mall, ordered food and a drink, and then walked away from his tab.
But other than that, Hall maintains he didn't speak to or meet with anyone.
We were dangling things in front of him, trying to get him to bite, and he just wouldn't do it. He was pretty smug most of the time, which was kind of pissing me off. Kind of came across as thinking he was the smartest person in the room.
After 2.5 hours with no concrete proof linking Hall to Kelsey, detectives take a break.
We had photos and the admission that he was at the mall and at Target, but we had nothing else. No witnesses, no nothing. Get a page from my boss, call me now, So I call him, and he said the Johnson County Crime Lab has matched the thumbprint on the back of the seatbelt buckle of her car.